Uh, my name is Max. I'm a creative director. I work together with my partner Sebastian. We work together almost like four and a half years. So,
yeah, hi, I'm Sebastian. I'm the second half of this team. We work at Scholz Friends. This is one of the larger German agency groups. We have all kinds of clients, consumer things, cars, a lot of ministries, banks, everything you have, and also the crazy wildcard tampon company.
I was shocked to learn that pads, tampons, and other menstrual products are taxed as luxury goods.
I suspect it's because men were making the law.
Right, Mr. President, men made the tax laws. 50 years ago, German lawmakers, who were all men, decided to tax feminine hygiene essentials like tampons with the highest rate of 19%, but things like caviar, oil paintings or truffles with only 7%. So tampons are the real luxury? Menstruation is luxury? Breaking the law wasn't an option for the female company, an online shop for feminine hygiene products. So how could we sell tampons for 7% instead of 19%? We outsmarted the law with the law itself by selling tampons packaged as a book, because books are also only taxed with 7%. Hello to the Tampon Book, a book that is a packaging for tampons to save taxes. A book that is a provocative message of existing gender inequality in our tax system. The book sold out within a day. The second edition within a week. It put the unfair tax system on the agenda of national and international media.
1.650 € Steuern zahlt jede Frau in ihrem Leben nur für Tampons.
We sent the Tampon Book to all politicians in parliament. Germany's largest drugstore chain decided to sell the Tampon Book. The petition on change.org got more than 150,000 signatures. A broad alliance of influencers, media and politicians increased the pressure on the government. With success. On the 7th of November 2019, the German Parliament abolished the tampon tax once and for all.
Zukünftig wird für Tampons und andere mit der monatlichen Periode verbundenen Hygieneprodukte endlich statt 19% der verminderte Mehrwertsteuersatz von 7% gelten.
Therefore, the Tampon Book is the first advertising campaign to cause a change in German law.
it was our first project for the female company because they are a startup and they are quite young startup. So our brief was really to make an integrated PR campaign to bring their name into the media, and they were really open for any kind of idea. But
and they since they hadn't done real campaigns in the advertising sense before, they do a lot of great Instagram content, but they hadn't done something like a campaign before. That's why they were really open towards our approach, which was a little different, like let's do posters and a TV ad. It was rather like break the law and then people will talk about it. But this was really a great experience to present an idea like this, and then people actually say, oh yeah, that sounds really interesting.
And as we dig deeper into this, to the female scenery, we found out that there is this sexism tax, and we thought, okay, we have to do something there, and why don't we combine like a selling kind of campaign with this creative approach. They loved it, and this was actually just the only idea which we presented. So we were lucky that they chosen this idea.
I just wanted to comment on the story Max just told. So when we were brainstorming about on the female company brief, one morning Max came in the office and he had heard on the radio about tampon tax, and then it came all together. This is the perfect social issue that we can combine for this young brand, and it just made sense. They really liked the idea, they loved it, but then there was a phase of insecurity, because what they said, like what every client would say, is this is really cool, but let's talk to our lawyers first. because now that it has been made and it has been successful, this feels like a good idea, of course, obviously. But in the beginning, the proposal was like to break the tax law. So they talked to their lawyers, and the lawyers said what lawyers usually say, like, no, there's a risk, please don't do it. And yeah, and then there was the moment that we are really thankful for, when they decided to do it anyway. And that's why every award we win is as much their award as it's ours, because they were so bold to do it.
Well, first we had another idea, because like Sebastian mentioned, I heard this unfair tax law in the radio, and they said, okay, there are other products like caviar, truffle, oil painting, which are lower tax. And I was like, okay, Sebastian, why don't we repackage just the tampons in a caviar box? So it's really simple. And then after discussion, we were like, okay, where can we get all the caviar boxes?
There was a list of items that are taxed with only 7%. And then we looked at this list and decided what has the most potential. We looked at like other legal texts, and we found out that a book in Germany requires to have 40 pages. So of course I said, 40 pages about menstruation, how will I like write copy for 40 pages about this? It's actually not that hard. It was kind of obvious that we said, this is not going to be a novel about menstruation. This is going to be a fun little read. We will have illustrations. So illustrations was like the first choice. And then content-wise, we had several meetings with female copywriters in the agency, like friends basically. And we just met with them for like to talk about menstruation. And then we had a list of topics. It went quite well. It was really fast. There were many topics from which to choose, and then we just like started doing the book.
We also, it was clear for us that we need some illustration support. So I searched on Instagram for female empowerment illustrators, and we found Anna, which is also a London, UK or London-based illustrator. And together with her, we've defined the style of the characters, and for all of the different topics, the right characters. Even if the medium feels a little bit old school, but it was clear for us, okay, it's a social media campaign, and the book is just the packaging for hiding the tampons in a way and selling them cheaper, but the rest has to be really feminism and empowering. And it's
when we first heard about free bleeding as an idea, and that an athlete ran a marathon while on her period, and then you have just this image pops up in your mind, like a Nike style athlete and the blood stain on the outfit. There were so many cool aspects. That's why the book like filled almost automatically.
But we also watched this old tampon ad where they just showed the blue liquid, and for us it was really clear, because also of the production side of the book, that we want to show blood, and if we want to show it, then we won't change the color, and also so that's why we thought, okay, let's make it black and white and just use red as a highlight tone.
Like something, I mean, as agency guys, I don't care. I mean, I want the shitstorm. I want to sail through the shitstorm. This is rather something that clients probably fear, but they didn't. The female company, they are just bold people, and they said, we want to make our name big. So if anything negative would have happened, it would have been okay, but it didn't. Because it's the right thing to do, and the tampon tax was stupid. So everybody was on our side, like from the start on. It's rather that you have you try to get politicians to talk about your issue, and that was rather the hard part. Like when we made the book, we asked ourselves, how do we get politicians to read this?
And I was on a shoot in Bucharest as we launched the campaign. So at this moment, we actually didn't really realize how fast the book was sold out. So in the evening, I just read the mail from the client, and she was like, okay, the first amount of books are sold out, and in social media, it's going crazy. And I was
yeah, but I was at home, and I saw like the launch on Instagram, and then many like influencers shared the story in the first few days, and I was like, oh, this is like really going viral. It's like, on the one hand, it's a physical object, and also it's like a social media campaign, and this is like a real learning for us that it works really well if you have something that you can hold into the camera. I mean, this could be very like a stupid ad, like somebody showing the product, but if the object is interesting and shows the absurdity or like how change could happen in a society, then it's very good for influencers if you give them something that they can show, like this here, this is it, this is the interesting story in my hand, condensed like in one object. It's like, of course, we are thinking about what's the formula behind this success. How can we learn from this for future projects? And yeah, this is like maybe one aspect. But you need to have that first few days where like it pops up to the first level, and it's also like it's just a scene of influencers that we honestly did not watch before. Like. This really broadened our mind, and this were just people we didn't know who shared our story. But then you think, okay, yeah, this is really interesting, and it's just a good story because it's so absurd and it's funny, but it's also activism, and I think it's a story you like to tell. The female company, the client, they are really well connected in the, say, feminist social media scene, so they know a lot of people and have a lot of friends who would share the project. Also, of course, because they like shared the common goal, but it's of course good if the client, I mean, in this case, the client really played a vital part in the success story.
We sent, I think, to 100 politicians, and also mailed them to get an invitation to the German Bundestag to talk about how can we change the law. And besides that, we also supported the Change.org petition, where people started signing to get this 100,000 or 150,000 signatures to at least talk at the German Bundestag about the tampon tax. And the book found so many supporters that also this petition and as well our book mailing to the political helped to get the invitation to the Bundestag and helped to bring in this topic into the media.
Yeah, so the founders of the female company, it's two women. They were invited to the Bundestag like shortly after we published the Tampon Book, and from these meetings, like a network in the Berlin political scene evolved, and this network became more important when there was the final vote on the tampon tax. I can only say that it's the difference between actually making a difference and just talking about social purpose. It's very hard to actually make difference, and I would like to cause positive change in society with every project. Of course, why wouldn't you? But you need clients who say yes to this, because we are like dependent on clients. I think that the ideas like this, they are there. I think in most agencies, people come up with change ideas like this that are positive. sometimes these ideas don't feel realistic. Yeah, but I mean, what's realism to a person who has to come up with ideas every day? I mean, more of this stuff has to get made. That's all I can really say. I mean, this is like a call out to clients. Just do the stuff that your creatives want to do, because then they will work really hard. If you say yes to just one of these ideas that actually cause something, and in this case it didn't backfire, and it was illegal, what more? What more do you need? Like, and I think this is like what award shows, I mean, I love award shows, but this is one very positive aspect of award shows, that they can set an example to other people in the industry. Of course, art directors and copywriters will always say, yeah, let's be bold. But other people in our business, they can see it worked there. What is in what's connected, which social issues are connected to our product? What can we change? And why not? I mean, if this is the decade where brands suddenly decided to be political for a few years, cool. I would love to be in advertising in this decade.
I mean, Sebastian and I talk a lot about the huge success of the Tampon Book, and we wanted also to try to figure out what are the main ingredients in a case which made this kind of huge success, and we think it's beside the brave client, it's having a good purpose, and as well timing. I think timing is also really important to come up with an idea which is in the right time. So we are now in a century where luckily all of the female or feminism is quite a huge topic, and we with this we can change. We can change the pink tax. We can change or abolish tampon taxes, and I think that's why timing is also really important for us, or for the success of the Tampon Book. So it was really good to launch it last year, because it was time to abolish the tax.
And I'd like to add that I think that another secret ingredient is maybe persistence, because it's not an idea that if somebody like just proposes this idea, it's not like all the other people in the room just say yes to it. It's still illegal and everything. And this is where I really like to give credit to Max, because Max was really persistent. Like, this has so much potential. Let's do this. Let's talk them into it. And then we did. I think you can do that, and then you can like be in love with your idea and love the potential. And then I mean, when you want to sell it, this is like the only thing that you can rely on. Like, really be honest about it, but also be sincere and love the idea. And then maybe people will follow. And then don't get angry if they don't, because it's like, also, I mean, we did a lot of ideas in that period of our career, and we still do. I mean, it's also just hard work. I mean, we propose so many things to so many companies, and they usually say no. This time, the right company said yes to the right idea, and everything came together. But we hear the word no a lot.
And for example, Burger King is a good example, because they also it's a big brand, and we would love to work for Burger King. And they with a lot of campaigns, they make the change. For their latest campaign, I think it was the moldy burger, where they showed the first time that their burger is not artificial made, and it gets moldy. So for us, it was really like, as we have seen the imagery and everything, and the cave sim, everybody was like, oh, now Burger King did a good campaign to show how their product can also be not as beautiful as you usually see it.
But it's also the tonality of the tampon case. Many people mentioned that it's not something that we came up with, but we have been told that it's like very unusual. And in the agency, we were told by like young creatives that their like superiors always say, just do something like the Tampon Book. which is not, it's not an easy thing to do. I mean, we think every day, when will we have an idea that is as great as this one? Also, what I think is really amazing is that we had applications from the people that want to work at our agency. Really a new kind of young creatives started to apply.